You shut us down, call us names, try to run us out. You pushed too hard, took too much. Now you're the ones who've lost their touch. You rigged the game, you changed the rules. Gaslit the world, played us for fools. But tides have turned, the storm is near. Cry all you want, we're still here. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent won't stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. Censorship, lockdowns, all your control. Built your throne on a house of gold. Now you panic, now you cry. Tears don't work, truth don't lie. The games are done, the mask fell off. No more lies, we had enough. You played with fire, now taste the flame. This time, we're naming names. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent won't stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. You called us threats, you called us extreme, but we remember everything. From 24 and beyond, take your bets, 'cause guess what? We ain't done yet. Faithful, fuck around and find out. Your kingdom's crumbled, your luck ran out. Faithful, no more games, no more doubts. You lit the fire, now it's burning you down. When central power rules the game, when thoughts controlling freedom's name, when the governed lose to government might, tell me who's got the wrong kind of Reich? He builds his cars, he mines the stars. No gulags for critics, no bureaucratic charge, no youth brigades chanting his name.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a great day. Another awesome Tuesday day. An awesome Tuesday day. That's kind of different, isn't it? I think. Anywho, something is wrong with my stuffs over here. I'm not sure. There we go. That's better. That's better. All right. So looks like Rose was first. Alrighty then. Number 2, and Pamela Prepper, how's my lawn? Number, you are the third. King James showed up here, West Virginia Pappy, and Jennifer. Good to see you peoples. Good to see you peoples. I'm doing some restreaming here if you guys haven't figured it out. I'm also popping out there on the on the X Spaces. I'll be doing some updates here in the next few days. We'll see how it works out. I don't know what I can see. I've got the multi-stream chat turned on, but I don't know if I can actually do anything with the X people. So the X people, not X-Men, the X people. All right, guys, if you were following the live stream from this morning, we're going to be talking a little bit about the likelihoods of EMP attacks, and some of the things that actually have to kind of happen to make all this stuff viable, that make it a real thing. We're going to give it a couple seconds for a few more people to pop in here. Looks like I have about 11 people in here right now. If you're enjoying your day, put a one in the chat. That'll kind of wake things up. Send out those notifications that have not been sent yet. For you are the lucky people who got your notifications. There it is, and the notification is 7 minutes late. Super duper pooper scooper. We've got the coffee set up, all the gauges are green, and everything appears to be working properly. So we're going to go ahead and get into it. That way we don't have to wait. We don't have to wait forever for all the peoples to show up to the YouTube. Thank you, MT Jen. Appreciate you. Jen, thank you. Let's see here. Are you in top chat? Oops, isn't here. I know, right? Yes, I am, but I am now in live chat. Thank you very much already. I appreciate you. King James, Pamela Pepper. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into it. And I guess the key thing to do is to basically, assessing the likelihood of an electromagnetic pulse, also known as an EMP attack in 2025, requires careful consideration of geopolitical, uh, technological, and strategic dynamics. Now, drawing from various sources, which is what all the research points to, including discussions on escalating global tensions, my analysis evaluates the potential for such an event, focusing on its probability and implications, particularly in light of recent developments in the Russia/Ukraine conflict and border international, or should I say, broader international relations. X people. Oh, Ian's on X, so I can see it. Man, I wish I could make this bigger. That's what she said. Anyway, we're gonna just do that. Maybe that'll help me a little bit more if I can like do some stuffs over here. But yes, I can see Ian over there on X. That is super awesome. Super awesome. All right, so key points on the likelihood of ongoing Russia/Ukraine conflict, now exceeding 1,000 days as of late of 2024, has intensified by notable escalations. The Ukrainians' deployment of U.S. supplied ATACMS missiles, striking deep into Russian territory, promoted a Russian retaliatory strike using an intermediate range ballistic missile, also known as an IRBM, on Dnipro. President Putin's revisions to Russia's nuclear doctrine, coupled with warnings of direct conflict with NATO should Western long range missile restrictions be lifted, signaled heightened risks. However, analysis, or should I say, analysts, note Russians' battlefield advantages in Ukraine may deter nuclear or EMP escalation, as such actions could strain relationships with allies like China or complicate diplomacy with the incoming U.S. administration in 2025. So he was thinking about this a ways back, a ways back. The probability of an EMP attack, while elevated, remains tempered by these strategic considerations. There's a lot of people doing a lot of thinking in a lot of places, before any of this stuff even starts to come into play. I'm going to go ahead and do my due diligence here, and I kind of failed you to put a poll question in there, so I'm going to do that right now. We're going to copy and paste 5 lines into this, and we're going to hit a button, and it's going to make it all visible to you guys. I do not think that it will be visible on the X side. As a matter of fact, I can almost guarantee it will not be visible on the X side, but I apologize. It is what it is. People, are you going to use the platform that they want to use? And start the poll. There we go. All right, so the poll question is how likely is an EMP attack in 2025? We've got very likely, imminent threat. We got moderately likely, rising risk, and we have low likelihood but possible, and we got unlikely, minimal concern. People are starting to vote. That is coolio, but as usual, I always tell you guys you don't have to. Hey y'all, I'm listening and mowing the lawn. There you go. Let's see here. Cool Colt showed up. Good to see you, Broseph. And to receive initial notice at 2:47, then 3:01 for go live start. Now that's freaking awesome, Rose. That is absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's go ahead and touch on some more of these details. And let's see here. Option three. Ian says option three. Somebody vote option three for Ian because he's over on the X side as well. All right, let's see here. Several nations, including Russia, China, and potentially North Korea, possess EMP capabilities, either through high altitude nuclear detonations, also known as HEMP, or non nuclear EMP devices. The Oroshenk missile deployed by Russia in Ukraine is nuclear capable and could produce EMP effects, though its recent use targeted conventional objectives. Non nuclear EMP weapons, while less catastrophic, could disrupt specific infrastructure covertly. Basically, they could do it secretly. The U.S. electrical grid, largely unhardened against EMPs, remains a critical vulnerability with minimal progress on protective measures despite long-standing warnings. I mean, we have read and talked about this for years and years on end. I want to say the actual EMP uh, uh, um, white paper that went out was like 1995. It's pretty crazy. Now, a deliberate HEMP or HEMP attack on the U.S. would involve a nuclear detonation at high altitude, likely via an ICBM or a satellite system. While Russia and China have this capability, the strategic costs, NATO retaliation under Article 5, global condemnation, and economic isolations would render such an attack improbable, absent, a broader war. In contrast, EMP attacks, whether intentional or residual, are more conceivable in Eastern Europe, particularly Ukraine or NATO. Allies like Poland, where the conflict is, uh, it's basically concentrated in that specific area. Sorry, we can only vote once, as the law. One vote per registered voter. There you go. Got you, Rose. All right, let's see here. So let's talk about tactical nukes. Now, tactical nuke strikes, if employed in Ukraine, could generate localized EMP effects, disrupting electronics in affected areas. However, these effects would be secondary to the primary blast and radiation, making deliberate EMP use less likely in this context. The focus would remain on kinetic and radiological damage. The EMP as a byproduct rather than a primary objective. Looks like Miko just typed something in there. As usual, guys, this is how it works. I talk about stuff, you write about stuff, I talk about the stuff you wrote. Miko says only one country actually shot off a nuclear warhead, atomic bomb, and used EMP devices. Middle East, better known as the shock and awe. Can you say USA, USA, best country in the world? Yes, definitely. Deanna, good to see you. Good to see you. Um, I cannot text. I cannot text into X, but I can talk into X. Now, I think we're kind of moving along here reasonably fast, I think. So the possibility of covert or asymmetric EMP attacks by state or non-state actors introduces additional uncertainty. Such attacks could target urban centers, causing localized chaos, but technological and logistical barriers limit their feasibility. Now, unverified claims circulating around on platforms like X about thwarted EMP related plots in 2025 lack credible evidence and should be approached with total skepticism. These narratives, while alarming, do not substantiate imminent threats. And you should obviously be paying attention to where you're getting your information from. Now, geopolitical indicators, rising instability, uh, increased military deployments, and provocative rhetoric are evident in 2025. NATO's large scale exercise in Latvia, North Korean troop deployments in Russia, and the absence of high level U.S. Russian diplomacy exasperate tensions. Russia's testing of nuclear capable missiles further underscores EMP risks. However, these signs, while concerning, do not confirm any impending attack or strategic restraint, and diplomatic considerations persist. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go over an assessment, an assessment of likelihood, an assessment of likelihood. With that said, you telling me there's only I got to have more than 5 people in here. Oh, YouTube, you were just playing silly reindeer games, YouTubers. Yeah, this is funny. It says I only have 5 people. What's it say on your side, guys? It only says 5 people on my side. Miko says after seeing countryman have nuclear weapon after they saw what happened in Japan, I think they're afraid to use it, and rightfully so. They should be. It's the most devastating weapon ever designed. All right, so the likely on our likelihood assessment, let's go ahead and start to low to moderate probability. So, low to moderate probability in the U.S., a large-scale EMP attack on the U.S. in 2025 is unlikely due to the severe consequences for the aggressor, including NATO's collective defense response and global isolation. Nevertheless, the risk is not zero, particularly in U.S.-Russia relations. Uh, if the relations deteriorate further, or if miscalculations occur in the Russia/Ukraine/NATO dynamic, it could be a serious problem. Now, the higher probability in Eastern Europe, EMP attacks, either deliberate or as a byproduct of nuclear strikes, are more plausible in Ukraine or NATO countries like Poland, given the active conflict and Russia's demonstrations use of advanced weaponry. Now, another thing to think about is something called asymmetric threats. And these would be covert EMP attacks by proxies or non-state actors, and they're less probable due to technical complexities, but could disrupt specific targets if executed. Now, claims of asymmetric warfare, such as comparisons to fentanyl distribution, are speculative and lack direct relevance to EMP risks. Now, there's also something called a natural EMP risk, which would be a solar flare induced EMPs, coronal mass ejections, that kind of thing. And they pose a small but real threat in 2025, aligned with the solar cycle patterns. These natural events could mimic deliberate EMP effects, though they are not human initiated. I'm going to go ahead and go to the poll real quick and check and see what's going on over there. And currently we have 12 votes. The question is, how likely is an EMP attack in 2025? 33% believe that moderately likely. Well, looks like I have to take that phone call. This is happening all over again. And I'm going to play you some music now.
You fucker! You laughed, you mocked, you shut us down. Call us names, tried to run us out. You pushed too hard, took too much. Now you're the ones who've lost their touch. You rigged the game, you changed the rules. Gaslit the world, played us for fools. But tides have turned, the storm is near. Cry all you want, we're still here. Faithful, fuck around and find out. You tried to rule, but your time ran out. Faithful, the silent won't stay quiet now. We're taking back what you burned to the ground. Censorship, lockdowns, all your control. Built your throne on a house of gold. Now you panic, now you cry. Tears don't work, truth don't lie. The games are done, the mask fell off. No more lies, we've had enough. You played with fire, now taste the make us extreme, but we remember everything. From 24 and beyond, take your bets. Cause guess what? We ain't done yet. Faithful, fuck around and find out. Your kingdom's crumbled, your luck ran out. Faithful, no more games, no more doubts. You lit the fire, now it's burning you down. When central power rules the game, when thoughts controlling freedom's name, when the governed lose to government might.
Okay, so you got to watch the video twice. Well, so it looks like we have a few more people popped in here while I was gone. Looks like Civil Defense Prepping showed up here. I'm here. I'm real. Let's see. I see 16 in Messenger. Gotcha. Um, where are we at here? I'm reading the wrong thing. I feel a CME more likely right now. Zephenhell says more of a chance of bad actors making our grid down by organized attacks on certain substations. We've seen that already, and that's very possible. Jennifer says I just ordered my Jackery with panel today. There you go. I love it. Did you use my code, Jennifer? Did you use my code? Because I've never made a sale off off a Jackery before. West Virginia Pappy says, "Where did you get film of me playing guitar in a top hat?" I've been following you around. Let's see here. Walks in fist pumping. Hello, all. What's up, K Kim? What's up? Um, and let's see. Ian says, Jen, what size did you order? Ian wants to know, Jen, what size of Jackery did you order? Okay, so let's talk about some critical considerations. The U.S. electrical grid's vulnerability to EMPs remains a pressing concern. Studies such as the 2008 EMP Commission report warned of catastrophic consequences, including up to a 90% population loss within a year of a major attack due to infrastructure collapse. Hardening efforts have been minimal, leaving critical systems exposed. Strategic restraints, including Russia's reliance on non Western allies and the diplomatic fallout of nuclear or EMP use, suggest caution unless existential threats emerge. Misinformation, such as the unverified stuff that you'll find on X about EMP plots, underscores the need for discernment, as these claims lack substantiation and can inflate perceived risks. So basically, don't believe what you're reading on the internets because you'll never know. You're never going to know. There's actually a website out there called like DEFCON 4 or something like that. It's supposed to track our DEFCON levels, but it really has no way of doing it. It's literally just making stuff up as it goes along based off of articles that it reads. Now, let me have this. I need a sip of coffee. With all that said, let's talk about some expanded preparedness recommendations. Now, while the probability of an EMP attack in 2025 is low, its potential impact necessitates proactive measures. The following recommendations provide comprehensive strategies to mitigate risk and enhance resilience, tailored for individuals and communities. And as usual, this is only my personal opinion, and if you don't make it through a EMP, this is not my fault. So, protect your electronics. Safeguard critical electronics is essential to maintain functionality post-EMP. Faraday cages constructed with conductive materials like metal boxes or trash cans lined with insulative layers block electromagnetic pulses. Alternatively, EMP-proof cloth, lightweight, conductive fabric offers flexible protection for devices like radios, GPS units, medical equipment, or solar chargers. Individuals should prioritize shielding items critical for communication, navigation, and power generation. For example, a portable solar charger wrapped in EMP cloth can ensure access to energy for small devices. Testing Faraday solutions periodically ensures reliability, and storing backup devices in shielded containers adds redundancy. Mm, got to protect those stuffs. You got to protect those stuffs. Looking at the chat there, Zephenhel, an EMP would have to be high altitude to be effective. Absolutely. About 320 miles above the Earth's surface is the sweet spot. Don't see anything on X. So develop some off-grid skills. Now, acquiring skills for self-sufficiency is vital for surviving prolonged grid failures. Water purification techniques such as boiling, chemical treatment, or maybe use some iodine tablets or even portable filters, ensures access to safe drinking water. Food preservation methods, including canning, dehydrating, or stockpiling non-perishable, support long-term sustenance. A 6-month supply per person is definitely advisable. Alternatively, energy skills such as operating solar panels or hand crank generators provide power for lighting or charging. And learning to repair basic equipment like generators or radios enhances resilience. Individuals should practice these skills regularly through drills, such as a weekend without electricity, which nobody does, to build confidence and identify gaps in preparedness. West Virginia Pappy says, are solar panels affected by EMP? They can be. It really depends on where you are in reference to the actual detonation. Based on the duration for the L3 wave, it could actually burn things up. So I would definitely be looking to try and protect your solar panels as best you can. Also, some solar panels actually have chips in them. You'll see where there is like you can plug your cell phone into it, that kind of thing. Generally, there's normally some kind of chip in there, which could be a bad thing. Let's see here. I got it on the Zon, not their website. It's on sale. Perfect, Jennifer. Perfect. It's better your batteries and yes, yes, West Virginia. Yes, your batteries and transformer. All right. All right. Let's see here. Community planning. Build local networks. Strengthens collective resilience. Communities should establish mutual aid agreements, designating roles like medical support, food distribution, or security. Creating a communication plan using non-electrical methods, such as whistles or flags, ensures coordination if radios fail. Community gardens or shared food storage can mitigate shortages, while pooling resources, kind of like, a shared generator, this is going to maximize efficiency. And regular meetings to discuss EMP scenarios and conduct tabletop exercises foster preparedness. Engaging with local emergency services or maybe a CERT team, if you don't know what that is, that's Community Emergency Response Team, programs integrates community efforts with broader response frameworks. Now, you got the 300E. There you go. King James says, luckily I'm prepared. I'm prepped out. Bunker, food, ammo, seclusion. I'm good. You got a bunker, King James? You got a freaking bunker, man? I'm so jealous. Everybody should be jealous. If you're jealous of King James because he has a bunker, put a one in the chat. Too funny. Let's see here. What else? What else? What else? If you love your country, not your government, your country, put a one in the chat. America. I'm going to drink some of this coffee because it's still freaking hot. I'm going to talk some smack. I'm going to read some stuff off of there because it's an education channel, and I'm going to pay some bills by pushing this button. Guys, I pushed the Jace Medical button for a very simple reason. I just got off the phone with Jace about an hour ago. They're working on some stuff right now that you can't even see on their website yet. But what you can see is that they have their own pharmacy, and they actually have like these new kits for kids that talk about everything from like the infections that they get. I mean, just it's like a kid kit, not a joke. So you can actually have like a kit designed just for your kid. Also, you can buy the ivermectin stuff all by itself. Some of these things are actually kind of expensive, so if you use product code LOCALPREPPER10, all one word, you will save 10%. And if you need medications because you're the kind of person that needs the medicine to stay alive on a daily basis, you might want to check them out and see what they got. I know they don't have everything, but they probably have a whole load of them. No, Bradley, I am not in top chat. I am in live chats. All right, guys. So go to jacemedical.com and find that stuffs. Use the code, save some money later. All right, so looks like we got over here to the chat side, so strictly just the chat side, so you can see your words up in lights, like making yourself famous. There you go. Someone should do a Jace case for pets. That's tricky, man. That is tricky. That would be a tricky thing. Not impossible, but a tricky thing to do. Um, you basically got to know a vet or something like that. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. How are we doing on our content over here? We're getting close. We're getting so close. All right. So the next thing we should be doing, okay? Oops was in top chat. That's hilarious. Stay informed. That's hilarious. Monitoring credible sources for geopolitical and technological developments is critical. Subscribing to reputable news outlets, government alerts, things like FEMA or DHS, or platforms like the U.S. Department's or the U.S. State Department's travel advisory provides reliable updates. Accessing real-time information through services like SuperGrok or X, believe it or not, there's something called SuperGrok or X Premium subscriptions can enhance situational awareness. Though prices details are not found in those sites, you can check them out. Now, cross-referencing information and avoiding unverified social media claims, such as those on X about EMP plots, prevents misinformation. Joining Preparedness forums or ham radio networks offers additional channels for verified updates. And I cannot emphasize enough that most of the information, guys, listen, if there was actually like a launch detected, we would basically have around 31 minutes. So where we're going to get the information or know that it's coming, it's most likely going to be post blast is where you're going to get most of your information. So Miko Wolf says most of human medications that they use on animals, talk to your vet. There's some you can use a lot of over the counter stuff on animals. It's true. If you've never like given your itchy dog some Dimetap because or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then or some kale pectate or something like that for their stomach. I mean, everybody does it because it's safe. As long as you know what you're doing, it's safe. But there are some human medications that will kill an animal. So just be aware. Just be aware. All right. So also, we need to secure physical resources. Now, beyond electronics, securing physical resources bolsters preparedness, like stockpiling fuel, gasoline, propane, and such. In safe, rotated quantities, it supports cooking or heating needs. A minimum of 20 gallons per household is recommended, stored in approved containers. Medical supplies, including first aid kits, prescription medications, a 30-day surplus of over-the-counter remedies and are critical, especially for chronic conditions. Firearms or non-lethal self-defense tools paired with training enhance security against potential looting or unrest. Post-EMP, fortifying home defense, such as reinforced doors or windows, shutters, deters intrusions. We actually talked a little bit about this morning, but regular inventory checks ensure resource readiness. Now, ibuprofen is lethal. There you go. Pure aspirin, some antibiotics, Pepto. There you go. Um, Now, mental and emotional preparedness. Prepping psychologically for an EMP scenario is often overlooked but crucial. Training in stress management techniques, such as mindfulness or breathing exercises, helps maintain composure in crisis. Conducting family or group drills, simulating grid down conditions builds familiarity with challenges, reducing panic. Educational resources like books or psychology or post disaster recovery provide insight into coping mechanism. Establishing a support network of trusted individuals fosters emotional resilience, ensuring no one faces the aftermath alone. Now, role playing scenarios such as bartering or evacuation prepares individuals for decision making under pressure. Hmm. It's kind of importante stuff there. I'm going to go ahead and check the chat here real quick. Let's see here. Where are we at here? Bradley says, I honestly don't think EMP is a good idea, even for first strike, simply because, yes, it's damaging to us, but I think if they see anything coming our way, the nukes will be launched and the whole world gone. I mean, that is a possibility. That is a possibility. Miko says your vet will tell you what you can use, what you can't use. That's very true. West Virginia Pappy says, I prefer to store non-ethanol gas. Very smart. And Bradley says, just realized I'm way behind. Disregard my last comments. King says, I live 12 miles from an Amish community. They have been ready. They have been ready. I believe it. You have a bunker that's 12 miles from an Amish community? Uh, I want a bunker so bad. If you guys haven't hit that thumbs up button, now is a good time. We're getting ready to close this up here shortly. Obviously, it's going to be a short live stream today. The chat is slow and the subject is very, very rapid. They've got to feed you with a fire hose today. Now, hey Debbie, good to see you. Good to see you. All right, so if we had to put a button on this, an EMP attack in 2025 remains a low probability event in the US, with higher risks in Europe or Eastern Europe due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Now, geopolitical tensions marked by military escalations and nuclear rhetoric, you know, elevate concerns, but strategic and diplomatic constraints reduce the likelihood of a deliberate large-scale attack. Now, the U.S. grid's vulnerability underscores the need for individual and community preparedness by protecting electronics, developing off grid skills, fostering community networks, staying informed, securing resources, and preparing mentally. Individuals can mitigate the impact of an EMP event. Now, with all that said, let's go ahead and go. Now is the time for you to go to the poll and put your answers in if you have not done that yet. And I can't believe I don't have a thing over here. I thought, oh, there's 12. Okay. All right. So, how likely is an EMP attack in 2025? 38%, low likelihood but possible. 29% say moderately likely. 24% say very likely. And 10% say unlikely. Ah, it's a thing, guys. It's a thing. All right, let's see here. 12 miles afternoon. Kate Kim says, "Oh yes, having tangible resources on hand is always useful. Good reminder. We've been spoiled with having information by a quick net search. Absolutely true. Absolutely true." And I'm getting the three thumbs up from Ian as well as Miko. Let's see here. Hump Day. That's tomorrow, bro. The books, guys, etc. Let's see here. Bradley says, yes, my 70-pound dogs gets a larger serving of Benadryl than mine. Ugh. Flacker here. I hit the thumbs up button for you. There you go. Rose says, likely locations for launch, Asia or Middle East, most common. Very true. Okay, guys, that's going to be about it for today. You got 2 live streams out of me, and I'm working on a members only video on ideas for building an office survival kit. I'll be posting that as soon as I finish it, which will be in the next 24 hours. All right, guys. And if you're not a member, I don't know what to tell you. You're missing out on a whole buttload of stuff. If you do decide to become a member, there's a link in the description, and you can make sure you become a Doomsday Prepper level, because if not, you don't get squat. All right, guys. That's going to be about it. Stay safe. Have a great day. Hit that thumbs up on the way out the door, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye.